My whole presentation is about personal branding and connecting with big guys in the industry, whatever it may be, whatever you want. 3 years ago, I was 20, I was 19 and 20. Random kid from New Jersey, right? Born in Marlton, New Jersey by Cherry Hill, if anyone knows where that's at. 20 minutes from Philly, and I had some bread, but I didn't know how to connect with cool people. My dreams were always to connect with top people in the industry, whatever it was, and I always envisioned myself back then being at cool parties with like people like David Dobrik and their whole crew, because I liked watching their videos and stuff. But fast forward to today, now being friends with top influencers in the social media space as well as the info product space. So these are some of the people I've connected with just in the last year or so. We got Seb Escueda, Sebastian Georgiou, Jordan Welsh, Justin Waller, Luke Belmar, Cardinal Mason. We got the boy George right here. And none other than Andrew Tate here over a Zoom call earlier this year. So I did all of this year with less than 30,000 followers and less than 6,000 subscribers. So not a massive personal brand, right? And now I have my company Beamly here, and I'm able to help serve and grow their businesses. People like Nate Belmar, Sebastian Escueda, Cardinal Mason, Ben Bader, Champ, and many others, honestly. And each of them know me, they like me, and they trust me to help boost their own revenue through Instagram, through their existing audience. So I know you guys are here for mobile detailing specifically, so we're gonna try and keep that more of the main focus here, but pretty much I'm also gonna go over some more points, but we wanna focus on getting in touch with detailership owners, high-end clients, and basically how to position yourself beyond mobile detailing to creating an online empire. Because at the end of the day, that's where you have ultimate freedom and ultimate leverage across the board. So we have me and Jay Waller on the boat, and then me and Luke Alexander, if anyone knows who that is too. But you can go to the next slide too. So this point is going to go into the inner mindset piece, and maybe you guys have heard some similar things, but I believe I'll be able to provide some different insights too. So one of the biggest things that's allowed me to even get to this point of connecting with these guys and doing what I do now, which is just like I connect with cool people for fun, and then it provides new leads, and then they benefit as well. I had to go through a lot of self-reflection. Back when I was back in Jersey, I was just like, all right, I got some money. I'm still living at my parents' house, and I'm kind of skinny fat. I don't like how I look. I don't like where I'm at right now. So I had to do a lot of self-reflecting and really realize that at that moment, I wasn't the person that deserved the things I wanted. So the entire 4-step process I have here is pretty much what I go through on a weekly, if not monthly basis, because we're always going for new goals, always striving for new things here. So you need to actually be honest with yourself, like put the ego aside, like, all right, cool, maybe you guys, however much money you make, whatever. Are you actually that guy that is worth more than that? Because right now, there's a good chance a part of you isn't worth it. And that's why you're here, right? So actually think to yourself, am I the person that is worthy of achieving these goals that I actually have for myself? And do you deserve top 1% opportunities? Because all you guys right now are doing the same thing, right? Like mobile detailing, you guys are helping people detail their cars and provide that service. So I'm assuming all you guys want to have more opportunities, better ones, higher paying ones. You guys want to connect with the Ferrari owners, you guys want to connect with Lamborghini owners, supercar owners, and exotic car drivers, because once you tap into that, you got a fucking ton of money coming in. So actually think about that, and this is the whole process that I go through myself that I want to share to you guys, is the reflection period of asking myself this question and these questions. And then I go to the skill refinement, because 9 out of 10 times, the answer to this is, am I worth it for the next goal? The answer most of the time is no, because if it was a yes, I would already be there, and I would already know these people, and I would already get these opportunities that I want. So then I go into refining my own existing skill sets. Of course, I'm learning new skills as time goes on. That's part of the process of developing yourself even more, right? But you want to get so good at your craft that it's undeniable. And you guys can only get to a point where you're fixing or cleaning a car so much to the point where it's like you really kind of hit the limit. So, and I'm going to get into that point here in a few minutes too. So next is finding your positioning. Each and every one of you have a unique skill set, whether it is being more personable, whether it's being funny, being a good dude. Maybe your service is just pristine. Every little fucking centimeter of the car is clean and shit. So each and every one of you guys have different skill sets when it comes to finding new leads and connecting with new business owners that drive these cool cars, because that's what you guys want. And next is the execution phase. So once you guys reflect, refine these skills, and identify your positioning more clearly with clarity, then you go to execute that. So this right here might take some time to figure out like what your unique skill set is and what your unique positioning is. So another example could be, like I said, your personality, maybe your charm, maybe you're just fun to hang out with. That's got me so far in life, genuinely. If I didn't have that kind of personality to be outgoing and stuff, I wouldn't be up here right now, and I wouldn't have built some of the relationships that I have right now. So next slide, Hudson. Next is just going to be me ranting here and just going on a few personal stories that I believe will be beneficial to you guys, and then we'll have a Q&A here at the end. So one story I want to start out with first is something that's relative to you guys for the mobile detailing side, car side. And it's the story of not myself with Andrew Tate, but one of his students, and not one of his students, but one of his employees actually. So a little over 2 years ago, there was this kid, he was like 15 or 16, and they were in Romania, and he would always go to these car rallies just to get cool pictures and get cool videos of all the supercars at the supercar rallies. And there was one day where Tate pulled up with him and his brother, and they had their fucking crazy ass whips, and the kid was taking pictures and videos, and Tate actually stopped and pulled over and asked the kid, he was like, "Why are you here? Like, what are you doing this for?" And the kid was super chill, and he was just like, "I'm just here to get content, and if I make any connections out of it, then it is what it is. That's great." Long story short, Tate actually hired that kid to be his videographer for over 6 months, and that kid can now use that in his resume and his social proof binder forever. So the synopsis of that story is you never know who you're going to meet just by doing what you actually like doing and putting yourself out there more. Now, going into more personal branding stuff and helping you guys build your own online presence more and actually stand out more is understanding that the service goes beyond the mobile detailing. And it goes beyond just being able to clean cars and make them look new and make them look very nice. It goes into the whole piece of understanding what it's like and how to build relationships with people. I know the last guy was on here talking about that, but I'm also going to touch on that because it's very important. If you are only showing up to do a job and you're kind of piecing out, that's all it's going to be, and that's all it's ever going to be. What I recommend and what I've done is I know what somebody wants, I identify that, and then I learn more about their personality and what their market research personality may like, what they're interested in. I'll learn that stuff, and I'll be able to provide them the service, deliver upon that, but also give them, a little more insight. Maybe I figure out they like a certain restaurant. I figure out they like a certain drink. I'll go buy them a bottle of alcohol and say, "Hey, I got you guys cleaning your car here today as usual, but I also got you this gift because I know you like this shit too." That goes a long ass way because so many people are just here for a quick buck and a lead to go to the next job or next gig. And maybe that's some of you guys, but maybe it's not. All I recommend is you guys learn more about your customer profile. And once you can learn that, you're able to kind of leverage that to get your foot in the door more. Because you have to think too, and this is a real example for myself too. There's been times where I'll be looking to have a podcast with somebody. That's how I've met most of these people. I just reach out to them, have a podcast. And I'm basically forced to talk to them for an hour. And after that hour, I'm able to fucking riz them up a bit and kind of be chill with them. And sometimes not everybody's like that, right? But for the majority of people that are like that, we're able to go out to dinner afterwards. Like a prime example is Nate Belmar. I just filmed another podcast with him 2 months ago in Miami. And he hit me up because we filmed one last year and did very well for him. He's like, "Bro, you in Miami this week?" I was like, "Yeah," knowing damn well I was still in Scottsdale. No, I booked the flight, and then we went and recorded. But long story short, I learned more about him. I knew that he wanted to scale his community more and the school community, and I knew that my service, Beamly, would be able to help him do that by targeting people for close friends, as an example, boosting the engagement, boosting the story views. And when he's able to get more eyes on his shit, more people are going to opt in, obviously, because it's a volume game. So we've recorded. We were talking shit on the podcast. The full one's not out yet. But then we go to dinner, and then I show him stuff about it. He's sold instantly. He refers me several people that have now paid me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth just in the last 2 months, just by talking to him and being cool and just being chill. So if you're able to learn about your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile, you can leverage that and really fucking dive into that. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to say here. Another example is timing of things. So maybe right now you want to scale as fast as possible to your next level, right? And you're like, why am I not able to break through this invisible ceiling that is in front of me right now? Because I've been there too. And you feel like everything's holding you back and you just don't know what it is exactly, how to pinpoint it. A lot of things, in my experience at least, is related to timing of things. Another example is somebody that I want to connect with, who I believe most of you guys met last night, was Sebastian Georgiou. I wanted to connect with him off the bat when I first moved here last year. I moved here April of 2023, and I knew I want to get Seb on the podcast. But I knew the timing wasn't right because I wasn't that guy that deserved it yet, going back to the other slide. I had to work myself up a bit in terms of getting more guests on, getting more people on that I think would be very, very qualifying. And then from there, earlier this year, we filmed the podcast together. So it's about positioning yourself correctly, understanding where you're at, and understanding where you can get to before you go for those big asks from people. Because we had always talked for months. We talked like once a week, give or take. And then the time came around, I filmed with Justin Waller. I used that as leverage and said, yo, you want to film when we get back? He said, I'm down, bro. So it's understanding timing and being more aware of where you're currently positioned. And when you're at a higher leverage position, that's when you can go for those bigger asks and more times than not, get what you want. So I'm sure I'll think of more points too, but I'm kind of blanking right now. Does anybody have any direct questions immediately?
You said at the beginning, like, you had to kind of get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Acknowledge yourself. What were some of the things that, like, you personally had that you had to get over?
Okay, so to get out of my own way in terms of entrepreneurship or in general?
In general.
Okay. Things I had to overcome and get over was understanding that, one, no one themselves is going to give their hand out to me and say, bro, let's go, I got you. I had to understand that for me to get where I want, I have to hold myself accountable and also do the work, what it takes to deserve to be that top 1% person that gets those opportunities. And that, you know, it's different for everybody, but it's also like understanding I need to get better as a communicator. I need to get better at building my personality. I used to be the most introverted kid, or top 10 introverted kids in my freshman and sophomore year of high school. And I'm only 23, so that was 7, 8 years ago, give or take. And I never really got out of my shell until like my late teens, genuinely. So it was understanding the skills that I currently lacked and understanding that by watching YouTube videos on people that are actually educational and bringing that awareness to myself that, oh shit, I got to get better at X, Y, and Z and get myself to the point where I deserve X, Y, and Z things before I can actually put myself in the environment where I believe I can pull it off. And you can also still get stuck in your mind a little bit in terms of trying to get that at the next level. Bro, deadass, you have to be kind of delusional. I've been pretty delusional with certain things in the past several years, and most of the time, unless it's something absolutely crazy, I've been able to do it. Somehow, some way, you meet somebody, all it takes is one person, right? I know that this, I think the other guy was talking about it too, but it only takes one person to unlock and start the entire process of snowballing your business. So I want to give you guys another personal example because that's all I can give is my own insights, right? So February of 2023, right? Not even 2 years ago, I was a software affiliate for Go High Level, if you guys know what that is, a CRM. And I was uploading YouTube guides, tutorials, making some affiliate money, decent money with it. But I wanted to tap into the whole space of the influencers because I knew I'd be able to get their reach and leverage that. And that's when I started reaching out to people and eventually locking down Sneeko. So my first ever podcast was with Sneeko. He's the only podcast that I ever paid for, and I paid him $5,000 for it because I knew the exchange of value was going to be worth it.
February of 23?
Correct. Correct. Yep, that's why I did it. So I paid him $5,000. I was like, I'm gonna make this shit back in 1 month with the new affiliate signups. So I sat down, filmed with him, video gets 40K views, nothing crazy, but the whole shit pays for itself with new affiliate signups and just doubling down and kind of building the authority of my personal brand, really starting to do that. And that's what I encourage you guys to do too, which I'll go into here in a few moments. But that one thing, right? Ever since then, I never paid for a guest, and I've had big people on. Once you have one person in, you get that entryway into their existing network. And then I meet, I was talking to Fresh and Fit, and then you go and meet other people in the space, and then one thing leads to another, and you're filming with Justin Waller on a yacht, as an example here. So what I encourage you guys to do, for the mobile detailing side specifically, is to, as an example, and I would do this too if I was actually starting this, is to go to these dealerships, whether it's a super luxury one or not. I would obviously say they go to the luxury ones. Or if you know a friend of a friend, family member that has a nice car, above average car. Let's just say, well, a Ferrari is definitely above average. But we want to get a nice car. I want you guys to film content about that, document the journey, say, yo, fucking Wade Houston head ass type thing, right? You document the journey of you guys recording that and showing the process of actually doing the job. Showing how you actually pay attention to detail, you're able to make a customer happier or something like this, right? You use that as leverage in the future. And then I would tell you, okay, now you have this, maybe you do it 1 or 2 times, then you go to a dealership and say, hey, I've been able to do this for other exotic car owners, and I would love to do this for you guys too. You guys can have an employee out here too while I'm detailing your guys' car too, just for the video. And I'm also gonna plug you guys because this one video did pretty decent. And maybe you guys can get 1 or 2 more customers that have never heard of you before. Whatever it may be, you guys can think of some bullshit to come up with. And not everyone's gonna say yes, of course. But the one person that does, that's your one entryway to start leveraging that. Because you never know if that video at that dealership goes viral with a 488 Ferrari or an F8 or a Urus, whatever it may be, right? That video can get 10, 20, 30,000 views on Instagram and give their dealership more awareness and more eyeballs. And in exchange, they may be like, holy shit, bro, Frank, can you come back and record another video here? We had an influx of walk-ins. You never know what it could turn into in terms of the value exchange. So going beyond just service delivery for these cars and for what you guys do is about actually setting yourself as an authority for when you eventually do transition into the online info product space, if that is what you decide to do. Going beyond the service, as I mentioned, it's about building the credibility and building the relationships. Something George always talks about is doubling down on relationships. Because once you have 1, 2, or 3 of them, it's so easy for somebody else to just introduce you to somebody else in the space too. And that unlocks so much money, so much value. Then you go meet somebody else, and you never know where it can snowball to. I had no idea that I'd be up here speaking today 2 years ago, right? Everything just snowballs for a reason if you keep at it. So that wraps at that point. I know I kind of rambled there as well, but let's get a few more questions. Let's go.
Yeah, 2 questions actually. So when you mentioned you had that podcast with Sneak for 5,000.
Yeah.
Good question. How were you able to maximize your connections beyond that? How did you extract every single juice of value from that podcast from there?
Good question. So what I did, you have the long form video on YouTube, right? And then you also have the short form content. So I'll post that to my Instagram. I'll post clips of us talking next to each other. And then when one of you guys or whoever comes to my page, you're like, holy fuck, who's this kid? He has 1,200 followers on Instagram, and he's talking to Sneeko. Maybe it's just a lucky one-hit wonder type thing or whatever, but I actually kind of like what they're saying on the podcast, so I'm gonna follow him. You won't believe, I still got people today paying me for Go High Level subscriptions as an affiliate from that video because they fucked with me and my messaging, and they were fans of Sneeko. It's called like social hacking and like clout jacking essentially for people's audiences. If you have a small audience or a non-existent one right now, it is going to be pay to play usually, unless you have some other crazy value piece you can provide. What's your second question though?
Yeah, so it was actually kind of one of the first question. So that was if you find, I guess technically you financially squeeze out value from the podcast with the Go High Level thing.
Yeah.
How were you able to actually connect with other members who were of unreachable status with that podcast?
Like who as an example?
For example, maybe Tate or Wade Houston or
whoever, right?
Justin Waller.
Okay, so good question too. It's all a domino effect. And what I mean by that is once I connected with Sneeko, I was able to connect with some other people. Do you guys know who, George, who are the guys, the three guys? The School of Hard Knocks. That's right. So I filmed with them too last year before they really, really blew up. And
Those are the guys that walk around, hey, what do you do for a living?
that's right. And they get millions of views every reel they put out.
Are they here in Scottsdale?
No, James comes here pretty often, but they don't live here. They live in, I think in Austin, actually, to be funny. Yeah, funny enough.
Dang, I bet they know all the people with the cars.
Yeah, for sure.
Plug in.
Yeah, for sure. I got their numbers, so I can do that. That's the thing, right? It's right there. Right, we got it there. But yeah, I just showed, I reach out to people. They see my page. They see who I have on my page. They're like, oh, this guy must be somebody. And that's how it is in the beginning until it's like very, very obvious when you have that bulletproof page of social proof. But that's pretty much how, I had Sneeko on, use that as leverage. Then I reach out to other bigger guys online. They see who I've had before. Oh, this guy's had Sneeko. He's a pretty big creator right now. Let's see what he has to say. And then from there, you have 3, 4, 5 guests on, and then things just kind of go from there, and you build that leverage over time and that momentum. Let's do it.
What skills have you learned that helped you get to where you are today?
I would say the number one most important skill to getting to where I'm at today is understanding psychology and understanding that you can get so far in life by just being a good person and just being a fun person to be around. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. You don't have to be the richest guy in the room. You don't even got to be the most well-known person in the room. All you got to be is personable, bro. Like a lot of these guys in this space, like once you really start tapping into it, a good amount of them are kind of weird, honestly. And I don't know why. I think maybe because they're so used to guys just walking up to them and be like, holy shit, like, nice to meet you, bro. Like freaking out, like nerding out. And maybe that kind of throws them off. But if you can kind of be just super chill, fun to be around, that will do wonders for you beyond any other sort of tactics. And
One thing, right?
exactly, I would just say just to be a cool person, you're fun to be around, that will do wonders for you. For sure.
Could you tell me more about your company, Beamly? I know you do the thing with Hudson with the story thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So pretty much able to like bulk add people's followers on an Instagram page, do it for Hudson, several other influencers that I had on the screen. What it does is anytime we start working together, I will bulk add all of your followers on your page to your close friends list. So whenever you post to your close friends list, it will put you as number 1 on the home page for all your followers with the green little circle. And what it does is several things, but one, it gives them the guru/creator to consumer even a level playing field kind of in their mind. Like, holy shit, this guy actually added me to his close friends list. That's pretty dope, right, guys? And then they're like, oh shit, they show their friends, and that right there allows you to get in front of so many more people, because when Instagram does push you to the front of the homepage when they open the app, people are going to tap your story and see your story. And the method that I told Hudson, that I tell every influencer, is to have a close friend story with a general poll or quiz, and then within 5 to 10 minutes afterwards, you're going to post a CTA to your overall story, like regular story posts. And what that'll do is within 5 to 7 days of you guys signing up and then using the close friends piece, you'll have thousands of followers added by then. Correct. And then what's that?
But almost all. Is it potentially private accounts that you don't follow back that you can't add?
That's right.
Okay.
Only private accounts.
10,000 and something.
Yeah. So what'll happen is they'll engage with a poll or quiz on your story, and then they'll just tap next to the next story. And then what I always say is to post some call to action for whatever it may be. Maybe it's a webinar. Maybe it's an opt-in or a limited sort of community pricing, whatever it may be, right? I've had guys do this for software, for sales, for copywriting. Cardinal Mason uses it, and he's been crushing with it. Wholesale real estate, doesn't matter. It's just the whole process, rinse and repeat. But basically just getting in front of a lot more people.
Story-wise.
Correct.
Question on that front. How many close friends stories is too many per day? Because I think because I've been here, I've been wanting to maximize the amount of people that see this stuff.
Yeah.
I've done like 5 today.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
It's not optimal. What I usually say is to do no more than like 5 a week. And yeah, you've been smoking that. I've been seeing them. I was actually going to say something today about it, but you're chilling. I say that just because you want to make use of it and use it sparingly.
Make it special.
Correct. Correct. Because if you start frying it, it's just like, what the fuck? It's not special. Correct. They'll catch on. It's like, oh, it's not special. I was gonna say something to you anyways about it. I was like, yeah, chill a little bit. But yeah, I would say no more than 5 days a week for sure. I would really, really, really only push it a bunch back to back if you have a new offer or a new sort of like price decrease to get in now. They call it scarcity. Yeah. Champs, yeah, one of my guys that I do it for.
No, Champs Grant.
Yeah.
Does Champ only have Champs only for, what is it, 120 a month? What's his offer currently? I know he has like a high ticket, but he doesn't push it.
Yeah, he has something new coming out soon that he wants to push on the close friends piece.
But he primarily has Champs only?
Correct, the Discord.
How much does that do, like 60 a month?
60 grand? No, I think more than that. Honestly, I don't know, because it's the bear market and things are down right now.
His followers are also up double. He's at almost 200,000 now.
Yeah, because his reels have been popping off. He's been doing pretty well with content. Yep. Any other questions regarding branding and stuff? Go ahead, man.
We're down. How do you gauge when a creator's brand is mature enough to build their own product or offer program?
Good question, too. Something that I used to believe, I believe it was a limiting belief back a few years ago, was I need to be X, Y, and Z person, or I need to be this guy before I can push anything, right? My stance has shifted since then to saying, don't start creating content until you have something to sell. Because you want to monetize right off the bat. Like people, this is my opinion, right? I believe that people should monetize and at least have something to provide to people that come to your page and see your content. And if they fuck with it, they'll buy. I believe it's not good to post content with no offer, because if you have somebody that wants to learn from you, mentorship, whatever it may be, and you don't have an offer or a product, it's kind of leaving money on the table. And right now, I believe you guys are somewhere between 5K and maybe 15 to 20K a month. Is that right, Hudson? Okay. Right now is the most important time to be doubling down into the personal brand. So if you can get some people that pay you a few grand extra a month, bro, you put that shit towards editing, you put it towards maybe even ads for your local area, you know, that could return pretty quickly. So I would just say products now, and then you build content. That's what I would say.
A broad question, but like, other than affiliate marketing and courses, coaching, how else could you make money online, like with Instagram or a large personal brand? I just was thinking to myself, like, what else? I know that there's other things you can leverage off of, like high following, but I'm just wondering what else.
I mean, if you have a high following, you can do a lot of things. Like you have, I think you said affiliate marketing is like the easiest one to do. If you have a big following, low ticket paid community, those crush. If you have a big following, yeah, school, WAP, whatever it may be. I think that's the best way to do that, because you have a low ticket community, you provide them value, provide them information, and then once they're nurtured enough, they can always buy up and be upsold into a high ticket product, whether it is mentorship, a mastermind, whatever. But ways to I mean, there's so many, bro. You can do it. There's no one right way to do it either. You can do it all different ways.
Two questions about branding. This is something I'm a bit concerned about, because a lot of people here say when it comes to detailing business in general, you want to kind of like mix your personal brand and put some personal lifestyle stories on for your detailing business. However, for me, I'm a bit concerned because my plan is a few years down the line, I want to sell the company.
Okay.
And so I was wondering if I connect my face or my name to the company, will that affect its resale value?
We're not really connecting it to the company, but you're connected to that'll be on your own personal brand, that would be for the company.
You would just put myself like my name on Instagram and then I own this detailing.
The only thing I think of off the bat is like your face is attached to the name, and then once that's gone, maybe that company's leads kind of dry up a little bit because your face isn't attached to it anymore. So you kind of want to build it in a way without putting your face to it. It sounds like, is that right?
Well, it's more like I don't want when I'm selling a company, when I'm trying to get like an estimate how much my company's worth, I don't want it to be a factor in terms of if I'm no longer working with this company, my company's value is going to go down. So
it's a valid question. I don't believe I have a super clear answer for it, but I do believe that you being able to leverage what you have right now, which is yourself and your personality, that will still, I would be more concerned about that than an exit right now at least. I want you to think about more increasing cash flow, increasing your visibility as an individual online, because that will lead to so much more money down the road that you can even just pivot into something else too, whether it is an info product or a paid community. In terms of an exit though, like, is it common for all of the detailing companies to be acquired?
We have one member who actually sold this company a few weeks back.
Yeah, it's from low five figures, bro.
It was
You said low five figures?
Yeah, it's not very lucrative to exit.
It was a 3-month-old business almost.
Okay, then now knowing that, bro, honestly, I would just focus more on building your own face online. Because you can exit this shit for even like a low multiple and they call it a day. But then you can just move into something else that teaches other stuff about starting an in-person business. That will pay you out so much more than trying to go for an exit for a crazy multiple for this sort of industry. Now, if you were in the software world, I would say something very differently, but it's not.
Yeah.
So why would you recommend like having 2 Instagram accounts? One's like actual business account, say the
Yeah.
detailing, and then one's the owner of the detailing.
I will say, so that's when I did that for a while. And
I wouldn't say to do that.
the business page, like, it's rare to really get customers from the business page.
There's no face to it. You have to be a person.
If you're pushing ads, that's different. Like when we were talking to you about, he's doing great with like ceramic coating ads and stuff.
Yeah, I just have this like I have mine's like how I do the funnel is I have meta ads, and then they see the meta ads, they see the personal connection for ceramic coatings $2.99, like that type of thing. And then all my company Instagram is not to really get leads, but it's a portfolio to lead them to possibly the website, and then that's the thing. So it's nothing like crazy when it comes to leads.
I think what he's telling you is you create your personal brand, showing you making your detailing business, but it's not really part of the detailing business. You know what I mean? So it doesn't affect you selling.
Yeah, either way, I believe that splitting a business account and a personal account is not really the right way to do it. Because as I was saying moments ago, and going into the future too, it's like everything is relationship based. Yeah. So like you need to be able to leverage your existing relationships and build new ones that are gonna unlock new opportunities. And it's kind of hard to do that on a business page that doesn't really show you or kind of humanize you. If you're able to show like you going out or you just living your life and talking shit, that's way more easy to bond with and people will be more welcomed to buy.
Business account?
Was that?
So I put share this on my business account.
So right now, do you have 2 accounts?
I have my own personal account. I don't say I own a business. It's just my own like personal friends thing.
Okay.
I have my business account.
If I were you, I would start showing myself more on the business page that you're actually getting traffic with. Correct. I would. Because it's easier to bond with a person than bond with a business.
One thing about one ad that actually is very interesting is a lot of retailers in this group and on Instagram, I feel like they're making content for other detailers instead of other customers. That's like, I'm very confused about. Do you make your content for other consumers or other detailing businesses?
There's almost no leverage to making content like for consumers. Like
Yeah.
scrolling on Instagram. Like the
That's
only
ad.
value right out of that video is like it's a cool, satisfying video where it's like I made $1,500 today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, maybe I can kind of do.
So the way that I would do this very tactically is you make the content, you post the content of you actually doing the detailing, but you leverage that for in-person conversations with people. This is what goes back to market research and figuring out what your ICP actually does in their free time. And if you can understand, oh, people with money go to lounges, people with money smoke cigars, people with money go to these cool places, you pop in, you just start talking to them as a normal guy, not business related, and then business comes up because that's what guys talk about, and then that's from when you're like, oh shit, yeah, I do mobile detailing actually, here's my page. And then you can show them your content. You're not going for virality with this. You're going for nurturing people, because we're not pushing an info product yet, right? If you want to go for that, then it's a different game.
Nurturing to other detailers.
No. Well, unless you're launching an info product. Right now, I would say to make content showing you doing the detailing.
And who would be watching that video?
Other detailers.
And was that a good thing?
That's what Hudson did, and now he has all of you guys do.
What he's saying is when you build your personal brand, you target other detail, you make money with affiliate marketing to them, and then you possibly make a mini course, do that type of stuff, which you you're not making a personal brand to get detailing clients. Your detailing clients are going to come for your SEO, your Google, that type of thing.
And
This is just your personal brand to show that, like, hey, this is me, I can build a business. If you learn how to take a detailing business 10K a month, you could teach. That's high value. Someone will pay you money to learn that shit. So they're separate, but they synergistically work together, like I was talking about.
That's valid.
That's it. That's everything.
Okay, then let's do 2 more questions.
So I was gonna say, like, the way I think of it is like, this business is my baby, right? I'm learning sales, marketing, all these skills that are translating to other things I do in my life. And I don't want to fucking do detailing forever. I'm only 40 years old and we're going to say detailing where. So I guess my question is, like, other interests I might have, whether that be like self-improvement, self-development, and wanting to teach others that. Like, how do you help creators have multiple passions or interests, build a personal brand without trying to force everything into one thing?
It's a valid one.
Yeah, that is a good one. Like,
because like obviously I can't be like, oh, this is how you scale your business to $10,000 a month. Also, this is how you get fit. This is a nutrition plan, and this is how you self-improve.
Doesn't Wade used to do something like that?
Similar. But I would frame it in a way where you just casually talk about it. And then you talk about things that you're thinking, you talk about your mindset a bit, and then without trying to plug anything, people will still try and learn more about that. Because that's how they connect with you. As they'll be like, oh, this guy is pretty interesting. He has similar interests as I do. He is pretty smart. I'm gonna follow him. And not everyone's gonna do that, but certain people will follow you and then eventually buy from you whatever you're talking about because they trust you more. You're building that rapport more.
for that, though, the way I see that, like, so he's pretty much asking how do you sell anything to your audience, you know what I mean? Like, he's asking, like, say you have to build a detailing audience, and then later if you want to sell it different, how can you sell anything to your audience? Like, the way I see it is like, maybe like a ball or like show, like, I don't think action for people, but they have to, like, show that you're this guy, this guy, like, I know everything, I can sell you anything.
Like, is that stuff to you, like, if I get to this point, right, and I'm selling and doing whatever, and people know me for this, if I ever try to translate into like, oh, self-improvement, self-development, will that even work because I'm already known for this?
Well, you got to think too, right? New people are going to find you when you're transitioning from that one interest to the other. Like, I've done that in the past. My Beamly offer has not been my offer forever, and I've been able to monetize the fuck out of that, right? It's just finding new people and then spending a lot of time and effort to following those people, nurturing with them, figuring out what they want, servicing them. Like, your following will be mostly related to this industry right now. But when you go change industries, you're going to start talking to a different audience. And that new audience is going to resonate with you. And your old audience may become a little bit more inactive. But that's just the way it's going to be. Like,
exactly. Like, what if I get like 10K followers, or their density is mainly off just detailing, and then you go to sell something else that you're just detailing something else, and you go to talk about that, and they're like, they can't keep for detailing, they come to you for this new thing. But I mean, at least at bare minimum, you have a following, and they will still maybe engage a little bit, so it's easier to grow and gain those other followers with that new thing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't recommend going out and just making a totally different account and doing a totally different thing. You have to keep like that.
I would never advise starting a new account. Once you already have content on there, once you already have connections, because one of the most valuable pieces now is not how many followers you have, but how many mutuals you have. And like when people can go to your page and see X, Y, and Z people follow you, that does all the talking for you. If you start a new page, unless you got these people's phone numbers on like fucking stat like that, you're like, yo, follow my new page, you're gonna be working in a new uphill battle. So rather do that than start a new page from scratch for that main reason.
Yo, and I think from the main thing, so if that's your goal, dude, from the beginning have that your goal. So don't focus insanely on detailing, focus on showing yourself to those people. Like make them fall in love with you, and then be like, oh,
I do this. This is how I do it.
Yeah, build it from the beginning, bro. If you're thinking about that in the future, bro, build it from the beginning where you're like, hey, I want this person to fall in love with me. Like really just stress you, but then be like, hey, I do detailing.
Right, like the
Like right now, I have 14,000 followers on my business Instagram. Right? Right now, I'm sure we all fell into this trap of thinking like, I'm advertising to get more clients. When in reality, all we've really done is attract more detailers. So at this point, it's just like, fuck it, change the Instagram page to my name now, change it to all days, my face, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's not even detailing anymore. It's like, that's just how I make money. This is my life.
I would say to do that for building relationships mostly, because then you never know too, is like when you change shit like that to be more personable. Like I said before in this, it's like you meet one person that could change everything in terms of any opportunity, whatever industry or niche you're in. And that could lead to you that could lead to you building your auto detailing business more in terms of like internal network opposed to outwardly. You know, my biggest month was all done through group chats and phone calls with people that already know me, that are already users or already friends of mine. So you guys can kind of do something similar if you guys do go the route of getting outside of mobile detailing too, down the road in the future. Go ahead.
I noticed like some detailers, like there was this guy named Golden Detailing Hunters too. The black dude, he like from the jump, I know he's a Christian. He mentions like Bible stuff all the time, so I know like if you went and started promoting like more like Bible, like Christian heavy stuff, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. You'll attract more of those people.
Exactly. And like there's another guy, Detail Group, and I know he works on. He sells like I'm pretty sure he sells a clothing line that's like kind of focused towards like gym. Like people that work on it, just so I can sell like detailer focused stuff on it.
What's it called?
They have their niche.
No, what's the clothing line?
I forgot what it's called, but I know he wears it. It might be someone else's, but I noticed. I don't think it's his.
He's big on the gym stuff.
Yeah,
he's gym in his shop.
Yeah.
Jack Rose.
He's got a squat bar right behind all this equipment, like in his shop.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I was gonna say that's probably gonna be it then. Unless we have one more question, and then we'll just wrap this up. Anybody? Once, twice.
Do you think that like when we're trying to build it, because I know not all of us have like 14K. Like for example, I have like 300 on my business. Like I barely post on it. Do you like? Would it be easy to start growing? Like if let's say we don't post and we just like, because I don't post much on it. I just have 300. Like would it be like with the algorithm? Like you can feel it if we start posting randomly, or like what type of stuff will we post? Is there a certain type of thing that like gets engagement? Like let's say for example, like I've seen his and he posts stuff that like directly like helps detailers. Like let's say I post something like buy a corner door, right? Or like stuff like that.
It'll get pushed out, trust me.
So I believe that that point, but also the most important piece besides like a visual cool hook is going to be the messaging and the actual creative, or in this case, the reel, because you need to talk specifically to the people that you actually want to see the video. And for this case, you know, it's going to be smaller, niche, and you guys are more kind of like in-person, local based, to my knowledge. So like, in terms of content that's going to go viral, perhaps, or get traction, just make it something cool, bro. So have it like a cool edit, like a before and after or something. Even to just get a bunch of views, perhaps, and make your account broad, whatever. It'll still bring new attention to your page, and then that will give you even more credibility for whatever it may be in the future that you decide to do. I think just figuring out a way to something cool visually while maybe even storytelling. Those tend to do really, really well together, even for long form content. So I know it crusts for short form too.
But I always think like, dude, even if you have like 0 followers, dude, if you're actually sitting down and making good videos and enough of them, you're gonna get traction at some point, right?
I think it's consistency, right?
It depends. I personally don't believe that. I think it's if you get better at certain pieces, and then maybe the more pieces of content you put out, one of them for whatever reason gets traction. Like, yeah, but like one of them was like Cardinal Mason was getting like 50K views per video talking to the phone like he always does. And then he posted a 2-second reel of him in a private jet with his brother talking about copywriting. And it was like a loop, like a 2-second loop. And that shit got like 8 million views. Like, you never know what can pop off. Like, he posts a shit ton of content. Some of them get millions of views. Some of them get tens of thousands.
One question for you too, you might know it. I got a notification on my Instagram that they're saying they're gonna permanently take it down or do some shit like that, block it, because I have someone else logged into my Instagram. I just got that notification like 2 times in a row.
They're starting to buckle down on shit like that.
Yeah.
So what I've learned that has actually helped with that is you have your setter use an IP address similar to where your phone's logged in. So you use a VPN. So I had a setup based in the Philippines for a while, and I got them a VPN account. They log in saying they're in Phoenix. Damn well they're in fucking who knows where across the world.
My center's only 2 hours away from me in different
Yeah, exactly.
Where's your guy?
My guy's all the way in North Carolina.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Because what happens when I log in, it's like, oh, hey, this IP address logged in, that notification.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one.
Yeah. So get a VPN and then have them always turn the VPN on before they log into your account. I'll get rid of it.
Smart.
All right. Well, that's gonna be it then. Answered some questions for you guys. Went through the presentation. Hopefully, you guys get some value out of it. So provide some new insights.